Kako to hugo ovako, ano?
Raz, dva.
Islam Makhachev vs. Jack Della Maddalena is expected to take place at UFC 322, and fans are already hyped for it. While many expect a close fight, Makhachev is pushing through intense training to get the job done. Joe Rogan expresses his amazement at Islam Makhachev's size and training, calling him a physically imposing fighter. He says it's surprising that Islam is even able to make 155 given his thick frame and broad back. Rogan points out that Islam's power and leverage make this grappling especially dominant, allowing him to control opponents with ease.
Yeah. He's big, dude.
Yeah.
When I interview him in the cage afterwards, I'm always like, how?
Really?
How are you 155?
Yeah.
How?
I know.
How?
I know.
He's thick as f. He's got a giant back.
Yeah.
And when he gets a hold of guys, it's like he's just got this leverage, this grappling squeeze.
However, Yoel Romero talks about the welterweight division and sees Jack Della Maddalena as a real threat to Islam Makhachev. He points to Jack's mix of cardio, striking, and underrated wrestling as what makes him dangerous at 170. Romero adds that Jack's size and physicality gave him the tools to compete with anyone, calling a matchup with Islam an unpredictable 50-50 fight.
What about Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, who is a new champion in welterweight division?
It's hard because Maddalena have a very good cardio, very good puncher. Yeah. It's not bad wrestling too. It's a 50-50.
50-50, but Jack has not that high takedown defense. You know,
but punch it. He have a very hard punches.
And he will be more powerful than Islam, right? Or
that's it. Exactly.
Because of the weight difference, right?
Yes.
Or Islam is too big for...
No. That guy, Maddalena, is big for 170. He's big.
Similarly, Max Holloway shares his thoughts on a potential and possible welterweight fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. He says Islam has everything needed to succeed but warns not to underestimate Jack, calling him one of the best in the world. Holloway points out that fans are too quick to dismiss Jack, comparing it how people doubted him earlier in his career. He respects Islam's pound-for-pound status but expects a tough and exciting fight.
I think he'd be fine, man. I think he'd be good, but people be sleeping on Jack, you know what I mean? And I think Jack is one of the best fighters in the world right now, and I think people is gonna find out when that match happens. I don't know. I'm hearing rumors maybe October. I think it's gonna be a fun fight, smart fight, but a lot of people counting out Jack for I don't know what reason. They just keep counting him out. Kind of reminds me of when I was like coming up and counting me out about certain fights. So I mean, he is, he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world right now, but he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world for a reason. So you gotta respect that, but. Don't sleep on Jack. I think it's going to be a tough and fun fight.
On the other hand, there is bad news for Islam fans as Khabib Nurmagomedov has recently revealed that he believes Islam Makhachev only has 1 to 2 years left in his career. At a press conference, he emphasized the importance of retiring by age 35 before a fighter's prime fades. He warned that staying too long often led to chasing paydays, taking unnecessary damage, and suffering knockouts. Using Makhachev as an example, Khabib said it was more honorable to walk away with dignity and start fresh, even joking that becoming an Uber driver would be better than fighting past his time.
Islam, maybe my honest opinion, 1.5 to 2 years, because age is gonna be October 34. Nobody gonna be sent. When time comes, they don't ask what's your name. Of course, I finished when I was 32. I don't even begin. I have this situation in my life, that's why. But when you become 35, you need to start doing this, because leave this sport for young guys. Because when you become 35 and you don't finish, somebody gonna finish you. Why? It's better to finish. Why? After 35, you're never gonna be same. People can talk whatever they want. When you pass your prime, you're gonna fight only for money. Like Allah give you 7 years, for example. You finish 40. And last 5 years, you will fight only for money, but they knock you out 10 times. For what? Go and work. Uber driver. It's much better to be still inside the cage.
Meanwhile, Islam is currently focused on becoming a two-division champion, as it was his biggest dream right from the beginning. The fans also believe Islam is not going to leave the sports before fulfilling his dream.
Can you just clarify, like, did they make you give up the lightweight title?
The Generation and everybody?
Yeah, like the
Of
UFC.
course, this is the dream, man. This is the dream for the all champions. Like we know many champions, but not is the from them like double.
Yeah.
That's why everybody want to be double champ. Everybody want to be UFC champ, but we don't have many people who have two belts. That's why I want to be one of them.
Moreover, Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendez, discusses Islam's mindset ahead of a possible fight with Jack Della Maddalena. He says Islam isn't focused on comparing Jack to contenders like Ilia Topuria, but is motivated by the challenge itself. Mendez explains that Islam thrives in testing himself and trusts the complete skill set he has developed through years of disciplined training.
It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So
Javier Mendez said Jack Della Maddalena could give Islam Makhachev a different kind of challenge compared to past opponents. Instead of focusing on Jack's record, he highlighted how unpredictable Jack was with his timing and body shots, building attacks without just chasing knockouts. Mendez added that Islam's team wouldn't treat it as a simple takedown fight, but would need to stay alert, study Jack's movement, and create openings rather than waiting for them.
I think what makes JDM so dangerous, number one, he's unbeaten for quite a while. Yep. He's had quite a long win streak, and the fact that this guy mixes it up extremely well. He goes to the body, to the head. He doesn't just stick head hunting. He mixes it all up. He goes body, punch, boom, and then also the kick comes. And with him, his takedown defense is really, really good also. So we are not in a situation where we can think, we're going to go to the ground, or no, we got to see what he's going to give us. And we're going to have to make him give us something, because I don't know if he's going to. He's really that good.
Javier Mendez viewed the matchup as a battle between two elite fighters, but believed Islam Makhachev's championship mindset would give him the edge. He said Jack Della Maddalena had never faced someone with Islam's mix of intelligence, timing, and composure under pressure. Mendez wasn't concerned about the move to welterweight either, noting that Islam had trained for years with bigger athletes and could handle the physicality. He expects a fast, technical fight that would bring out the best in both men.
Islam's a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level. And also, the weight is not super big for him either. So he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes.
Javier Mendez also gives an update on Islam Makhachev's future after a potential fight with Jack Della Maddalena. He says they haven't discussed a permanent move to welterweight yet, but admits there are more opportunities at 170 than at lightweight. Mendez emphasizes that Islam makes all the decisions himself, while he just plays the role of a mechanic supporting the journey.
Yeah, so you think 170 is permanent now for moving forward?
I can't say that, because I haven't spoke to Islam about that, whether he's going to want to stay at 170. I really don't know. There's a lot of opportunities at 170, and at let's face it, at lightweight, there's only a couple.
Yeah.
But at welterweight, there's a lot more.
Yeah.
So Islam is the driver. I'm just the mechanic, and maybe I'm the guy that fixes the tires of this one, but Islam's the driver. Islam decides where he wants to go, not the manager, not Habib. Islam is the boss.
On the other hand, Chael Sonnen expressed excitement for Islam Makhachev's expected fight in New York against Jack Della Maddalena. He said many people might be underestimating how competitive the matchup really was. Chael noted that while Islam usually received the spotlight and respect as one of the biggest Muslim sports figures, it was Jack who faced the doubt. He found it unusual that the champion was being questioned more than the challenger.
Islam is headed to Madison Square Garden to fight Jack Della Maddalena, according to Khabib.
We have deal with them. He's gonna fight in Madison Square Garden, and they say yes.
It's a lot closer match than you think it is. We understand Islam. He's the most famous Muslim athlete in the world. He's going for basically a history maker. We don't question him. Jack is the one being questioned. How in the hell are you gonna question the guy with the belt?
The MMA guru also gives his take on a possible fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. He sees the early rounds as a chess match, with Jack defending takedowns and landing sharp shots, but he predicts Islam adapts, finds the clinch, and uses pressure to score a second-round TKO.
Who you got? Ilya Pereira, Islam.
I've got Makhachev.
I got Makhachev as well.
And I've got Makhachev second-round TKO with a knee in the
Oh, yeah, you going by rounds.
Yeah, I think he'll shoot a couple takedowns. Ilya will stuff it. Ilya will catch him a few times, and people will go ooh and ah. And then when they clash again, I think Makhachev will go grab him. Ilya will think, oh, he's shooting again. Tie clinch, bang, body, knee to the head. Ilya's all of a sudden stumble, downhill from there. I think he beats Oliveira with a body shot, though.
However, Craig Jones called Islam Makhachev's potential matchup with Jack Della Maddalena a very difficult fight. He said Jack has the best scrambling ability in MMA, which could create an even greater challenge. He also noted the size difference and how Islam struggled on the ground with Volkanovski, adding that if Jack beats him, it would raise serious questions about Makhachev's dominance. Craig Jones said, "I think it's super difficult fight. Obviously, Islam faced Volk twice, but the first one was very competitive, but now he's facing a guy with the best scrambling ability in all of MMA. I think that's what Bilal struggled with. The size difference is going to be much more than people think, and we've already seen how Volk did on the ground, how much Islam struggled with him. If Jack beats Islam and puts him in a tough spot, then?" Sean O'Malley also shares his thoughts on Islam Makhachev moving to welterweight. He calls it an exciting move and downplays the size gap with Jack Della Maddalena. O'Malley believes Islam's skill set can overcome physical disadvantages and notes that his striking could be the deciding factor if Jack focuses only on stopping takedowns.
How do you think Islam does at welterweight?
Who knows? I heard he's not going to be any smaller than Jack come fight night. 55 to 70, that's a little bit different than 35 to 45, 45 to 55. But when your skill level's that high, as Islam's is, it'll be interesting if he goes in there and tries to shoot on Jack. Jack stuffs him and gets in his face, but Islam's striking is so underrated. Islam can put the hands on Jack too.
UFC bantamweight Malcolm Wellmaker says he respects how sharp Jack Della Maddalena looks, but still sees Islam Makhachev as the best. He admits moving up in weight could be a challenge, yet he's confident Islam will adapt, figure things out, and keep proving why he's viewed as a champion.
Jack looked real good, but I think Islam is the best, man. I think Islam is the absolute best. I do think, obviously, moving up a big difference in weight class will have some effect, but I think that he'll be the champion that we know him to be, and he'll find a way to get it done.
Meanwhile, Luke Rockhold calls the matchup between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena a tough and exciting one. He lists Islam, Topuria, and JDM as his current favorites in the UFC, while he gives credit to Jack's wrestling ability. He believes Islam's deep grappling background gives him the upper hand. Rockhold points out that Jack's size could create problems depending on how well Islam adjusts to welterweight. Having trained with Islam himself, he mentions the added size is clear and says he's interested to see how that factors into the fight.
Do you see him beating JDM to win that welterweight title?
That's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. It's going to be interesting. I think those are my three favorite fighters in the UFC right now. We go Islam, Topuria, and JDM. He's fun to watch. So, that's going to be a great fight. He's no slouch at wrestling, but you have a guy that's wrestled his whole life and grappled his whole life versus JDM, who's kind of like, he's secondary on that, but, you never know. He's a bigger guy. So, we'll see how Islam, how he bulks up and how he looks. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember. I used to train with him forever. So, he's definitely grown, we'll see how he carries the weight.
Furthermore, Islam Dulatov warns fans not to underestimate the fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. He says Makhachev has the tools to win, but Jack's striking in size at 170 make it a tough challenge. Dulatov believes Islam will need a sharp strategy and world-class grappling to get the victory.
I think a lot of people think that it's going to be an easy fight for Islam, but I don't think that it's going to be that easy. I think Islam going to win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for him, like everybody thinks. Because Islam is maybe big for lightweight, but he's not big for welterweight.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I would say, like, I don't know, he don't look for me so big.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just on pictures or whatever, but actually, I think JDM has a lot more of weight than him. But at the end of the day, I think JDM has better striking, and Islam has for sure the better ground game. And I think.
Meanwhile, Dan Hardy praises Jack Della Maddalena's talent and sees his potential, but questions if he can truly take over the stacked welterweight division. He also wonders how Islam Makhachev will adjust at 170, pointing to the size and cardio demands that heavier fights bring. While he respects Islam's dominance at lightweight, Hardy isn't fully convinced the move will be smooth.
I think Della Maddalena's got a bright future. I don't know whether he's going to hold the belt or he's going to lose it to another one of the top contenders and then pick it back up again. I don't think he's going to lose it to Makhachev, though. I think Makhachev holds the lightweight belt against anybody in the world, on any day, including Ilia Topuria. I don't think if he moved up, he would have much success against Makhachev. But Della Maddalena looked very, very sharp against Belal. And I wonder what Makhachev would look like as a welterweight, whether he would look as strong and as lean, or whether he would look heavier and potentially gas himself out, because he'd be stepping straight into a 5-round fight, wouldn't he?
On the other hand, Stephen Thompson weighs in on Islam Makhachev's debut fight at welterweight and sees size and strength as the biggest challenges. He points out that many welterweights cut from over 205 pounds, making it a tougher division. While Jack Della Maddalena may be taller, Thompson says overall power matters more. He respects Islam's grappling, but reminds that Jack has already dealt with strong wrestlers like Belal Muhammad.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 to the 215. Some of the guys that I faced would walk around at that weight. I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JD might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division, Belal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
Robert Whittaker also comments on Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight and thinks it could work in his favor. He says, cutting to 155 has been difficult for Islam and believes his strength can translate well to 170. Drawing a comparison to Ilia Topuria moving up, Whittaker calls it the million-dollar question, with everyone eager to see how Islam performs in the higher division.
Do you think it could kind of have a similar effect to you, where he might even be able to perform a little bit better a weight class up?
Maybe. It's I guess that's the million-dollar question. That's the question everybody's asking, and that's kind of the question. It's the same situation as Topuria as well. How good is Topuria? But what's he going to look like up weight division? Same with Islam. By all reports, though, the weight cut was really hard for him, like really, really hard. He's super strong for that weight division, which must translate well to moving up, making it a little bit easy cut. Maybe he gets a little bigger. It's that's the million-dollar question. Everybody's asking the same thing.
Robert Whittaker admits it's difficult to predict how Islam Makhachev will perform at welterweight, since moving up always brings uncertainty. He says both the physical and tactical aspects can shift, but he remains confident in Islam's skills. Whittaker adds that Makhachev can do everything Belal Muhammad does, only at a higher level.
Definitely. But like I said, it is hard to try to get like an accurate gauge on what it's going to look like, not knowing how Islam is going to look when he moves up. Okay, it's always the question everybody asks when anybody is moving up a weight division or down a weight division. Okay, there's so many unknowns involved. But saying that, I think that Islam can do everything that Belal does, but way better. Okay, way better.
So that wraps up today's video. What are your thoughts on this exciting matchup between Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Would love to hear them. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and check out our other videos for more MMA content.